Welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about our organic, fair trade, sustainable, pesticide-free, recycled, dolphin-safe earth oven. Did I miss any adjectives?
Super crunchy.
Super crunchy? What does that mean?
I don't know.
I'm not going to say super crunchy. It's kind of dumb.
Okay, well, just smile then.
Just for what?
Just smile.
So for what? For the shot?
Yeah.
For years I was fascinated with the idea of having an earth oven, and I got this interest after seeing Joe Pierce's earth oven at the Mosswood Farm Store in Micanopy, Florida. And I filmed a video with him, which you can watch. And it's a really cool, awesome oven. And he does all this sourdough bread that he bakes, and he would bring it out to the farmer's market in Gainesville. And it was just like, wow, what a cool thing. What an awesome oven. But when I went over and filmed it, he was doing maintenance on it. And I found out that this is something you have to do a whole lot with an earth oven. But we'll get into that in a minute. Right now, I'm going to tell you why we built this earth oven. We built this because at the beginning of the Corona thing, we wanted to make sure that we had backups for most of the systems that we had here. So we have a gas stove. We got extra canisters of gas and set them aside. And we started cooking more over a 3-stone fire because things got locked down, and we thought, hey, you know what? Let's have backup systems. Let's build an earth oven. And then we can do baking. We can bake our own bread through a crisis, no problem. We don't have gas, no problem. We can get wood. It's got a door, made of thick wood. The inside of it, we put down bricks. We raided an old home site and got the old bricks out of a chimney and laid it down in here, made the bricks for the arch here, and then we packed layers on there. And this is all based on Kiko Denzer's work. If you've read Kiko Denzer's book, I read it again and again and again before I actually built an earth oven. And then having Corona come through was like the impetus to finally build the silly thing. And so we did the layers, we put in insulation on the inside, we mixed all the cob. We had a lot of fun mixing the cob. This is how you mix cob, traditional building material, and it's for earth ovens. You take a couple of parts sand, 1 part decent clay soil, subsoil, whatever you got, throw some straw on it, wet it down, and just keep stomping and dancing on it until you have got a really nice, strong building material. Done. It's like primitive concrete. And we built this whole stack of rocks here in a nice big ring, big enough to be a support, made it really stable, concreted the rocks together. Sawdust and clay dough for insulation, and it's going here into the top of this mud oven that we are building. We used rocks found out of the yard and mortar and made a ring. This is our base, and then it's been filled full of junk. And the inside, like some dirt and rocks and bits of rubble and whatever else. And now this is the insulation layer to stop the heat of the oven from going down or getting pulled out by the earth. So after this point, we put in our sawdust and clay dough to act for an insulating layer, and then we're going to go up and build the oven itself. So there was a lot of work that went into this. This took over a week to finish. It wasn't a week of solid work, but getting the whole thing together and building it took quite a bit of time. And so, you know, we invested a lot into having this off-grid cooking setup. But it's got some cons, other than the maintenance. But before we talk about the cons, let's talk about the pros. First of all, the great thing about this oven is it's super low tech. We were able to build it from mud, cow manure, straw, rocks. I mean, it was real simple. And sand. We threw some sand in there too to give it that grit. The idea is when you make cob, you mix it all together and you make a sort of natural concrete. Or at least that's the way it's supposed to work. So we stomped through it and we had a great time. And we built this oven with really, really simple stuff. And we could have gone even more simple. We could have just put it on like right onto the ground. But instead we made, our little platform for it out of rocks and concrete, which was completely unnecessary for what it was. Pretty much an earth oven is just a big mound of earth with a hollow on the inside of it. So you can heat it up and then it radiates heat back in. When you scrape the fire out of it, and it radiates heat back in towards the center and bakes whatever you have. So the first great pro of this thing is that it just basically you can make it with stuff that's around your own yard, unless you have completely sandy soil, then you got to get clay from somewhere. Pro number 2, this thing runs on wood, which means cooking fuel is readily available. We don't have to get gas for it. You don't have to have any electric for it. It's so easy. You could just go chop sticks or go get pallets or whatever else. All you have to have is wood. And that makes it nice, easy, simple technology that's easy to keep fueled. Number 3, the bread baked in this thing is better than bread baked in other things. Because of the radiant heat from all sides, it makes this really nice crust all the way around. It's this crusty crust. It's this incredible wow crust. Crunchy, would I use the word crunchy? It's crunchy crust. It's crunchy. That's an adjective. So the bread is fantastic. It's really, really good. So that is pro number 3. Pro number 4 is that it was really fun to build. It's a great family project. We got to play in the mud and we made something out of it. A lot of times when you play in the mud, you don't make things out of it. You're just trying to haul your Jeep out or something. No. This time we actually made something playing in the mud. And it was good family time. So there's pro number 4. Now we have to talk about the cons of earth ovens, or what we wish we knew before we built one. Con number 1. It actually took some time to build. It's not like putting a 3-stone fire together where you have to go get 3 rocks and then you put a fire into them and you're ready to go. No, this took drying times, binding things together, getting bottles for the insulation on the inside. It took time. Like I said, it took about a week, except it wasn't a week of solid work, but it was a week with a pretty good amount of work. I wouldn't give you the exact hour count on it for sure, but I'd say it was probably close to 15-20 hours. Con number 2 is that it required a bunch of fuel. Yes, if we ran out of cooking gas, we could still cook with it. And yes, it runs on wood, which is a sustainable resource, but holy moly, it takes a lot of it. I mean, compared to using a rocket stove or something like that, where you just throw a few sticks in there. No, the earth oven, you have to just keep ramming fuel into that thing and burning it and burning it and burning it to get hot. I had no idea it would take so much wood. And number 3, not only does it take a lot of wood, it takes a lot of time. Firing this thing to get it hot, to get it really hot, to get it super, super hot so you get that amazing radiating heat that makes that incredible crusty bread, that actually takes a few hours of firing. We're talking 3 hours of tending a fire in tropical heat. This would be nice if we were maybe in Maine or in the Arctic Circle. But when you're already dripping just walking outside, and then you go and you have to tend this fire for a really long time, and you just keep going and going and going with this fire until it really, really, really heats. You're heating this sucker until the radiant heat is just going to be, it's all full. It's basically just a huge repository of heat radiating inwards. That takes a lot of fuel to really get it going because there's a lot of thermal mass there. It's ridiculous how long it takes to actually go and do this thing.
I'd rather just not eat bread than have to spend 3 hours tending a fire.
It makes much more sense just to make a regular fire and throw roots in it for survival purposes, especially since we're not in a wheat growing area. Might as well throw some cassava on the fire, put some sweet potatoes, put some yams, whatever, plantains, than have to go and spend all this time making bread with imported flour anyways and spend hours and hours and hours trying to do it. So for survival situation, Beyond the firing, it actually takes all day to cook in the earth oven because you make the fire, you keep banking it up, you keep banking it up, you keep banking it up. Then you finally pull out the coals and do a few tests to make sure it's not super hot. Sometimes you put in a couple of little pizzas or something like that to see how it goes. And of course, then you've got to deal with all of the, the dough and making the bread itself. So you've got one crew of people working on keeping the fire going, and then somebody else is working on making all the dough and getting all that stuff together. And then you can only bake a few loaves at a time, unless you had a really huge one, which we don't. So you got to go in a few rounds of it. And the first round, everything cooks really fast and burns. And the middle round is just perfect. And then the last round, you're like, is it still hot enough? It's not ideal. And I know there are design problems because I built it, but it's really a lot of effort. And even in an ideal earth oven situation, reading Kiko Denzer's book, it's a serious investment of time to do this earth oven thing and to spend your time baking in it. So that brings me to number 5, which I sort of just mentioned, so we could kind of just shove those together. And that is, it takes multiple people to do this thing. I mean, I suppose you could bank the fire yourself and get it all ready and go back and forth between making the bread and everything. But we found that it took a few of us to really, somebody's watching the fire and kicking it up while the other person's working on the dough and punching the dough down and rolling it out and getting it ready and preparing the loaves and getting the peel. And then there's somebody there that's going to scrape the coals and, okay, we're going to open it up. Ready, here we go. And so it's not just like, I would say the ideal cooking technology is a microwave at this point. You just go beep, beep, beep. That is the height of human civilization. I swear, that is the very top that man ever devised. It's so simple. It's so beautiful. I will never take it for granted again. Pizza setting. Popcorn setting. That setting where you just push it and you don't know what it's gonna do and it just does it. Okay, I'm going to the next point. Number 6. This is the final one. This sucker is a lot of maintenance. As you can see, it's cracking and falling apart. And we kept mixing it up and changing the ratios. We even put, cow manure in it as a binder. Just get that third world chic going on right away. We're just getting that out of the way. Sure, go for it. And we put in the straw and the grit and the clay, and we stomped it and worked it and stomped it and then put it together, and then it cracks a little bit, and then you patch the cracks, and then it cracks some more, and then you patch the cracks. And I know it's out and uncovered right now, but after we built it, we let it stay out on dry days and dry out. And we fired it on the inside to try and dry the inside at the same time. Did everything by the book that we could. And we would cover it when it rained. We put a tarp over the top of it to make sure that this thing was not getting pounded by the rain. But still, the maintenance is ridiculous. Like, right now, that thing needs to be repacked and recovered again. And this is just a repeating problem. So after years of reading about earth ovens, and looking at earth ovens, and dreaming about building an earth oven, which I couldn't really do because I was in sandy Florida and I didn't want to buy clay and all that. Here I come to a new place, I've got a lot of clay, I've got a crisis. It seemed like it was just the time, and it was. And now I've built an earth oven. But what I've realized is this thing did not work out like I hoped, like I expected, and we're not using it to bake bread in. It's too much of a pain. I just get more canisters of gas and we bake bread in the regular oven if we want to do it. So what I realized is there's only one way to recoup the time and effort that we put into this, to get some sort of compensation for building the many hours of stomping and building and all that stuff. And that is obviously to destroy it for YouTube clicks. Thanks for joining me as we took some time to talk about the pros and cons of an earth oven in a very mature and responsible and environmentally friendly way. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit the bell. And until next time, may your thumbs always be green. Today's video was somewhat facetious, and I have absolutely nothing against earth ovens or Kiko Denzer's work. I think Kiko Denzer did a fantastic job with his book. I greatly enjoyed it. I will put a link below this video. Just because it didn't work out for us on our first earth oven and the amount of time that we had and our climate, etc., doesn't mean that it's not going to work out for you. So I hope you enjoy giving earth ovens a try. We did have a lot of fun, and of course, it was also fun to smash. So there is that. Thanks for joining me. Catch y'all next time. You don't want to be in it?
But I'm not doing anything. It's my only line.
How's that?
No.